So let's take a practical example. Maybe some of you, your questions will be answered, but doesn't mean that what we have done is not important. That one is a model whereby instead of numbers, we have letters. We have to be comfortable solving model that are in letters as well. So let's take this example, practical example. So it's asking us to find, this is an example. Please, let's take note. We cannot depend on these videos entirely. Sometimes the recordings are not good. They don't convert.
Mr.
So,
Ture,
yes.
Mr. Ture,
Yes.
can you please mute their mic?
Sorry?
Mute their mic.
I'm not getting you very well. Sorry. You said, can I what?
He said we should mute our.
I can't. How to call it? It's like I'm distracted at my end here because we have like 22 students. It's about, we all know what brought us here. You understand? And if you, I have been not even asking, I have been begging literally, you understand?
Cannot mute in their mics. All the mics are on, Mr. Ture.
Yeah, but
Let them mute the mics.
They cannot be lecturing, trying to mute people. That's your response. In fact, if you are attending online lectures, you go to a place whereby there is no key or no noise. That is about personal responsibility. This is not high school, it's university.
Please, let's mute the mic. Please, let's mute the mic.
So I cannot do much about that. I'm distracted on my end here as well. Okay, so let's continue. And if you don't owe it to yourself, you owe it to your colleagues at least. So we have find the equilibrium level of income and consumption. Let's be taking note. I realize that sometimes this recording past few weeks, it's not that good. In case if it's turned out bad, you can have the notes. If the consumption function is C equals to 0.6y plus 10 and an investment is 12. That is investment equals to 12. So we have these questions. The question is in front of us. So they ask us to find what? I always tell students, no matter how much you have confidence in yourself, try to read the question and understand it. If you understand it, you solve 50% of that, you have the 50% of the mark. So if you looked at it, some people will just go and compute the equilibrium, but it's asking us two questions. First question is what? It's asking us to find equilibrium level of income. So in short, equilibrium, I'm shorting it. So level of income. That's the first question. As well as what? the equilibrium level of consumption. So this is what the question is asking us. So first, what you haven't seen, you understand, is the model itself, the equilibrium. So first, let's look at this. The equilibrium level of income or national income is the same thing. So this is what they are asking us to find. And obviously we know that in equilibrium, what happens? Consumption should be equal. So this is our simple model. In order not to even confuse you in exam or in quiz, this will be given to you. I will give you this. Because if it's given to you, you might think that government expenditure is still there. But even if it's not given to you, you read the question well, it will tell you it's only consumption and investment that is in the model. So that should even give you a clue that this is the simple model we are dealing with. So now, this is given to you. If you have a question, please, you can stop me and ask. You understand? So you need to find what does this is given to us. And this is also given to us. And they say this is what, 12, right? And they said C is what? C is equals to what? 0.6 plus what? 0.6 before that is 0.6y plus 10. Let me even write it properly. So we have 0.6 times y plus 10. So remember, this 6 is nothing but the A, the general general model. When you look at the general model, it was like A times y plus b. So this is the b here, and this 0.6 is the A. So this is but this is a specific example. It can tell you that A can take any number and B can take any number as well. So coming back to this question, and we remember we are finding equilibrium level of income. And normally we represent it with what? With y star. This is what we are finding. So what we are going to do, we will substitute this C into here, and we will also substitute 12 in place of the investment, which is very simple. So, but normally what I do, I will delay the substitution of investment and I leave it there for a purpose. I will tell you. So what we can do here, this is the first step that you should take. And the second step that you should take is the substitution. Then we'll have Y, that is our equilibrium level of income, is equals to the consumption. We substituted with this, that is 0.6 Y. In fact, for now, it will be too much to be writing stars. Let's remove it for now. So we can have this. Then minus, sorry, plus the 10 here, still with the consumption. Then plus the investment, this investment. If you substitute it with 12, there will be no problem. But I like to keep the investment until I deal with the consumption. So let's keep the investment first. But if you substitute it with 12, you will not be wrong, still okay. So we go on. We see that we'll collect the like terms. So we have y here and 0.6y, these are like terms. So this one we transfer it to the other side of the equation, that is the left-hand side of the equation. So then we keep this 10 and investment here. Still, this investment is a constant. So this will come here. We have y, this is plus, so it will change into 0.6 y equals to 10 plus investment. So at the end of the day, remember, this is nothing but there is a y in front of this. So all what we need to do, we need to factor it. So we go to the next slide. We continue y minus 0.6y equals to what? 10 plus investment. 10 plus, remember investment is 12. You can even substitute it if you like, but there are a lot of ways you can solve this. So here there's a 1 here. So all what we will do, we will factor the y out. Then y, it will be this, you have the 1 here minus the 0.6 here equals to 10 plus investment. So at the end of the day, this will become y equals to y. We can have this y will be equals to, we divide. Remember, we are finding y. We could solve this in
Mr. Ture.
Yes.
Is it that this y is always substituted by one constantly, or?
Yeah, anything standing, there is a 1 attached to it, even human being, because 1 times y is y. So anything, any variable standing alone, there is 1 attached to it. For example,
okay,
like if you have b here, it's the same as 1b, because 1 times b is still b. So there is 1 here, whether it's written or not,
okay.
You can introduce it by yourself. Okay, so remember our goal is to find what? The equilibrium income. So we divide everything here by what? We can even say that this 1 minus 0.6, that will give us what? 0.4. So at the end of the day, before we even go further, we can say 0.4 equals to 10 plus investment. So we want to know why. We divide both sides by 0.4. We divide everything by 0.4. So at the end of the day, we will cancel this. So this will give us our equilibrium level of income, which equals to 10 plus investment over 0.4. So we can restate this as what? It's equally, we can say this to 1 over 0.4, 10 plus investment. So remember that this, I don't know who could remember it. I said it has some meaning, and it's what is the expenditure multiplier. So anytime you are asked to calculate expenditure multiplier, is this 1 divided by 0.4, which will give you what? 2.5. We haven't finished yet. So we go to the next slide. We have this. That is the national.
Mr. Ture, excuse me. Can you go back? You know, you said y is equals to 10 plus investment over 0.5, which is equals to 1 over 0.4. How do you have that 1 over 0.4?
So you see this, we can, let's go back. Let's do it here again. We have 10 plus investment equals to 0.4. You understand this, right?
Yeah, I understand.
So this can equally be stated as 1 over 0.4 is mean times 10 plus investment. This will give you the same thing as this one. So this is just about algebra manipulation. So this times this, it will give you this. This times this, it will give you the denominator. I don't know whether you get it. The one who asked the question, I don't know whether you get it. It's the same thing.
Mr. Ture.
Yes.
Mr. Ture.
Yeah, I'm hearing.
Where did you have the?
Where do I have?
It's asking where do you have the 1 over 0.4.
That's what I'm asking. How do you have the 1 over 0.4? That's what I'm asking.
It's just the algebra, which I don't. Okay, this is the.
I think it should be 1 minus 0.6 instead of 0.4.
We all know how we got this, right?
No, my question is how do you get the 0.4? I think it should be a 1 minus 0.6. Then you divide it by.
We have this. Okay. let's go back and do everything. But it's just algebra. Some of these things are yes.
Please allow me to record.
Sorry?
Allow me to record.
Record what?
You should allow him to record the video.
The class that you are doing right now.
Now the video is being recorded at my end, so after that I will share it with you people. So I don't understand, like, is it possible you want to record it from your end?
Yeah, it's possible. You just have to allow it.
No, let's have one recording. To do that, it will take some time. I have to change some settings, something like that. So let's just have one recording, and it records here. I share it with the group. Okay, let's. Yes.
Okay. No.
All right. So now I think everybody. Let's finish this. If you have a question, let's take question one after the other. Let me finish the question I received first. Then you can ask, please. So I hope up to here everyone got that, how we arrived at here. This one is well understood, right?
Yes.
So now let's pay attention. You understand? There are many ways to solve a problem. So our goal is to find the equilibrium level of income, which is this one. So how do we make it to stand alone? We have to divide both sides by 1 minus 0.6. Someone asks, how did we get that 0.4? Is we subtract 1 minus 0.6 will give you 0.4. But now let me take another approach to this because I'm having a lot of questions. So what you have to do, we have to make sure this y, which is the equilibrium level of income to stand alone. To do that, we will set y, which is the equilibrium level of income. So in bracket, we have 1 minus 0.6. I'm not even going to solve it, equals to 10 plus the investment. So what we are going to do here, we divide both sides by 1 minus 0.6. We divide it here 1 minus 0.6. Why are we doing this? We want to make sure that this y, which is the equilibrium level of income, to stand alone. So we will cancel this. So this is alone now. Is this clear to everyone so far?
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
so now we have this here, the equilibrium level of income as what? 10 plus investment all over 1 minus 0.6. So this 1 minus 0.6 is 0.4, but I'm going to leave it here for a purpose. Now, we can go ahead and solve this. You will be right. We can just substitute investment with 12. But I also wanted to give you some economic interpretation of certain things. That's why I'm still dragging with the investment. So we have this. You understand? We can go on and express this in another way. If you have two, like I have to call algebra, you understand? If you have A divided by B, you can still go on and say 1 over B times A. Because this A, you know that is over 1. So it will 1 times A, it will be A. B times 1, it will be B. It's still the same thing. So what you can do, you can say that the denominator, our denominator, in fact, let's have this. Now we have this. This is just basic algebra that I am doing to manipulate this. So we have 1 minus 0.6. We have this. So everyone understand how we got there. So the confusion comes here. Now, when you have a fraction, this is a fraction. Everyone will agree with me. Like if you have A over B as a fraction, Equally also, you can write it as 1 over B times A. So 1 over B times A will give you the same thing as this. I'm doing this because I wanted to give you some economic interpretation of certain terms. So 1 over B over A, if you solve it, this will be 1 times A, it will be A. B times 1, it will be B. It will give you the same thing. So this concept is what I'm applying here, whereby denominator, which is 1 minus 0.6, I just said 1 over denominator, which is 1 minus 0.6. Then times the numerator, which is 10 plus investment. If you want, you can use it over 1. So if you multiply this by this, it will give you this. If you multiply this by this, it will give you this. It's the same thing. I am expressing it in this term because it has some economic interpretation. So I don't know whether still now this place is
overstand now. We overstand now.
So you understand. What about the others? Do you understand what I'm trying to do? So at the end of the day,
I understand.
Okay. So at the end of the day, this will come here as what? Our equilibrium level of income is equals to what? 1 over, remember 1 minus 0.6 is what? Is 0.4. That's how we got that 0.4. Someone asked this question too. I don't know whether this is answered. Your question is answered now. This is how we got 0.4. Then multiply. If you want, you don't have to write this multiply. You can just put it in a bracket. So what is telling you there is a multiplication here. So it will be 10 plus the investment. So this 1 over 0.4, it has economic interpretation. That's why I'm even dragging. I could have stopped here, but because it has economic interpretation, that's why I wanted to drive it. And it's our what? Our expenditure multiplier. In fact, I always ask this. So it's better we know how to calculate it. Expenditure multiplier. So is there anyone who doesn't understand how we arrive at here so far? We haven't calculated that the equilibrium level of income yet, but is there anyone who doesn't understand how we arrived here? Before I proceed, okay, so let's go on. So now that we have this, and 1 divided by 0.4 is what? Is 2.5. So we have this y equals to 1 over 0.4 times, that is in the bracket. We have what? 10 plus investment. We have 10 plus investment. So 1 divided by 0.4, that will give us what? 2.5. This is a very short, and is very, we can answer it within 2 minutes, but I like to take every step. We have different people in the class. So this 1 divided by 0.4, it will give us 2.5. Then plus times 10 plus the investment. So this 2.5, as I said, is the expenditure multiplier. It is this 2.5, it's telling you that if income increased by 1 unit, expenditure will increase by 2.5. That's the meaning, that's the interpretation. Again, this 2.5, which is the expenditure multiplier, it is telling us that if income increased by 1 unit, expenditure will increase by 2.5 units. So we have this. So now that we know that from the question, investment was given to us, and investment is what? I think was 12. So what this is telling us, this 10 plus I, it is what? Is our autonomous. So these are economic terms. They are autonomous spending. It's telling us that the spending that doesn't depend on, if you Google it, you will even see it. You understand? You can read more about it. So it tells us this is the spending that doesn't depend on the expenditure, that doesn't depend on the income. The level of spending or the level of expenditure that doesn't depend on the level of income. So what we have here, that is 10 plus investment, we call it autonomous spending or autonomous expenditure. So this one, 2.5, is our expenditure multiplier. So you can be asked to calculate the autonomous spending. To do that, it's 10 plus investment. And we know investment is 12, that will be 22. And you can be asked to calculate the expenditure multiplier, which is what? The 2.5. So there can be a lot of sub-questions from this. So at the end of the day, we can go ahead, since we know that 10 plus investment is our autonomous spending, or some people call it autonomous expenditure. So now we can go on and calculate the numerical value of our equilibrium level of income. This will be 2.5 times 10 plus 12. So obviously we know that this is what? 22. So it will be 22 times 2 point, it will be 22 times 2.5, which will give us 55. So at the end of the day, our equilibrium level of national income or income will be 55. It's a long, I chose a long procedure so that you understand it, but you can solve this within 1 minute or 2 minutes, I guess. But I have to make sure that every step I take it so that, you know, we have different backgrounds. We came here with different background in mathematics. So it's something that you can solve within 2 minutes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. You go back.
Okay.
Question.
Okay.
The question I saw 2.5 in bracket 10 plus 12 over 22. I don't know, is it 2.5?
This 2.5?
Is 22. Yeah, I said under the 10 plus 12. What is that?
If someone can help me, when you speak, your mic is echoing. I don't know whether someone heard her. You can please convey the message or the question to me. I didn't get you very well. I know we were talking about 2.5. I don't know.
The 22 is what she's asking about.
How it came about.
Yeah.
Okay, the 22 is this 10. This 10 plus 12 is 22. So this 22 then times 2.5, it will give you 55 as a equilibrium national income. I don't know whether that answered your question.
Yeah.
Okay, so is this 22?
Yeah.
I could go up with a further step, but I thought there is no need for it. So it's 10 plus 12 is 22. And maybe if somebody is asking how we got this 12 was given to us as an investment from the onset. That's in the question. It's here. So we now calculate our equilibrium. We have the equilibrium level of national income, which is 55. Now the next question is we use this 55 to calculate our equilibrium consumption level. Is there any other question before we go to the second part of the question, which is the equilibrium consumption level? I took many steps, but you don't have to. If you're answering these questions, it's, you can jump from first floor to last floor. It's possible, but I had to do it because I'm lecturing. Okay, so let's look at the consumption. That is the second part, was what? Equilibrium. They asked us to calculate the equilibrium level of consumption or equilibrium consumption level. So first, what you need to do here, if you looked at the way I solve question, I take step by steps. You understand? So first, you have to restate your consumption function, which is given to us. And the consumption function that was given to us is C equals to 0.6 times Y plus 10, right? So they are asking us to find this. So meaning that we have to use equilibrium level of income this. So they are asking us to find this. And to find this, we have to multiply this 0.6 by the equilibrium level of consumption, then plus 10. And then C, which is the equilibrium level of consumption, is equals to 0.6 times the equilibrium level of income, which is what? 55. We calculated it already. So we substitute it here, the 55 here, then plus the 10. So you will see that once you calculate the equilibrium level of income, calculating consumption for this simple model is very, very easy. So 0.6 times 55, this will give us 33 plus 10. So at the end of the day, it will give us 43. So we will have 43 here as our equilibrium level of consumption. It will give us 43. So this is what? 43. So is there any question that you want to ask, or you want to comment or contribute something? The floor is open.
Yeah, question.
Okay, go on, please.
Mr. Ture.
Yeah.
Yeah, the C, like the normal C consumption, like and the C with star. What are the difference?
This one is any consumption level. You understand? But what we are looking at in the economy, there is a point we call equilibrium. You understand? And that equilibrium is what your income should be equal to your consumption plus the investment. So that level where this happens, whereby the income, this income is equal to your total expenditure, it happens at where? 55. So at income level of 55, the consumption, which we said 43, plus the investment, which is 12. When you are here, this is what is how to call it? It's 55, not sure. And here, this is 55. This is a level whereby your income is equal to your expenditure. So this star here is different from here because this is a general level. It could be any consumption level. But this one is the equilibrium level. So at here, you understand, at equilibrium, the consumption in this economy is 43. So this is just a general function, general consumption function. But here we are finding the equilibrium level. One can even further say like this, there are many ways. You can even say that you leave this, you leave this, you leave this, you leave this until you know the value, then you just say this is the equilibrium level of consumption. But why do I put star there? Is telling you that what we are looking is the equilibrium level of consumption, not any other level of consumption, or we call it general level. So the first one is a general function or general consumption function. But whilst we put the stars there, like here, so this is telling you that what you are doing, you are finding what? You are finding the equilibrium consumption level. This star is telling you that you are dealing with the equilibrium, or you are finding the equilibrium conditions. You understand? So that's what the star means there. But the original function is this. So we are using the original function to find the equilibrium level of consumption. That's the only difference. I don't know whether you people you have taken, because if you have not taken principles of economics or basic economics, these things might come to you as very abstract. That's why when we started this course, I said the prerequisite for this course is that I shouldn't even be teaching maths here. I should be doing applications. But I know how from experience is not the case. I should just come and start lecturing the application. But I am teaching maths as well as economics, as well as the application. It's like 3 courses in one. So normally the prerequisite for before you take this course, you should have taken principles of economics to understand what we mean by equilibrium. And you should have taken maths courses like Maths 1 or Calculus 1. So when you come, my job will be to do the application part. But right now I have to do the economics, I have to do the maths parts, then combine them to do the application. So if you haven't taken economics, these things might sound abstract to you, but I'm doing my best to explain them to you here. So that's the difference. One is a general function, one is like we are looking for the equilibrium point. That's why we have the star there. Any contribution, question, or comment before we move on? Now we do the calculation. Now we want to, can we visualize this? Can we represent them in a graph form? That's the beauty about economics. We can do the algebra, which is this, but can we visualize it?
There's possibility, sir.
Yes. So if you don't have any question or comment, then we can go on to graph this. Okay. So to graph this is very, very simple. All what we need to do first we need to know, first step is to bring your equilibrium condition, which is consumption plus investment. Obviously, now we know what consumption is. Consumption is represented by 0.6y, not so, plus 10, and investment is represented by 12. So at the end of the day, this will be our national income model. This is 0.6y plus 22. So this is the equation that we will use to graph. So this is very simple. We have talked about, this is a linear equation. And how to graph it is very, very simple. This is all what we need to graph. First, bring your equilibrium level or your equilibrium condition. Substitute what C represent as well as what I represent, that's investment. And this is our consumption. This represents the consumption, while this represents the investment. So these are the constant term there. Add them to have 22. Then you have this. So this is what you will use to graph the equilibrium condition in a good market. So now, how do we graph this? Everyone should be able to graph this. We did this, how we graph linear equations. So we have this, y equals to 0.6y plus 22. So first, let's draw our coordinates. So here, remember, this is our income. So, but here is our what? Our expenditure. So we will have our expenditure here on this side as expenditure, representing expenditure, EX. So we will have our income here. So to graph this, obviously, you ask yourself, this will be our expenditure intercept, which is 22. That is, we ask ourselves, if income is 0, if this is 0, then our x-intercept will have 22 as well. So in fact, if you don't want to confuse yourself, if you drive this equation, this one, always know that this will be your intercept, that will be here. So you just draw it. Always, this 22, what you have here will be the intercept. So Now, what we will do here, we will represent this y with a 45 degree